Hey there guys, so I want to thank you for taking the time to check out this video. What I want to go over today is really talking about some organizations that you can really support when it comes to LGBTQ issues. Well, this is some research that I've done quite a bit for a long period of time. Whenever I'd first really come out and was really, of course, doing a lot of research on, sexuality, one of the things that I tried to get into was really supporting organizations that were sort of advancing equality for others. And that was a big thing with me because at heart, am pretty passionate about activism in a lot of ways. Now, I do want to say that before I do go into this, I do want to mention that you don't necessarily have to support these organizations at all. I don't want to, cause any controversy or anything of that sort. I just want to share sort of some of the organizations that I've supported and really feel have been a great, factor in really advancing equality for everybody. And this is something that I'm really passionate about. I've always been passionate about it for many years when I came out. And so I just want to share some of these different organizations with you guys. The first one that I do want to mention is, of course, HRC, which is the Human Rights Campaign. I've supported HRC. It was one of the first, organizations that I really got fully in depth into and really researching what all they, were doing when it come to, causes that are related to LGBTQ issues. And I remember when I had first looked into the organization, they were basically sharing a documentary and they were promoting a documentary that was called, oh, you can still access this documentary, but it was called So the Bible, or yeah, For the Bible Tells Me So, is what the documentary was. And they were promoting this. And this documentary was really helpful to me in a lot of ways because it did relate to sexuality and faith and really sort of reconciling those two differences together. And so I started to research a lot about what they do, how they, do their activism and things of that nature. And a lot of people are very aware of HRC. They've been pretty prominent when it comes to the LGBTQ sort of area and really advancing a lot of, the political side of things. So I think they're one of the best. They do have a really high score on Charity Navigator. Now, if you're not aware, one thing I usually do before I sort of donate to any place or if I'm investing into any place is I usually try to go to either the Charity Navigator or the Charity Watcher, and basically these two sort of organizations are kind of like sort of measuring transparency of these specific organizations and how they keep track of their finances and how they contribute to what they're doing and saying that we are doing exactly what we say we're doing. So these are two great sort of resources that you can check out if you really want to confirm that these are, places that I want to really support and to, really place my trust in them. So check those out too. That's what I recommend. And like I mentioned, you don't necessarily have to support these places, but I would recommend doing your research. And that's something with me before I actually really go fully into supporting and any kind of organization. I try to really see and research, are they doing what they say they are doing? And so that's some resources you can check out. Again, it's Charity Navigator and Charity Watch. So these are both sort of websites that you can check out that really, any kind of organization that's nonprofit, it'll explain on how they are doing, basically scoring them, in other words. Another other great organization that I've just basically supported as well is known as GLAAD. GLAAD is GLAAD, and they're actually, the name is based on basically gay lesbians against, defamation, basically is what the name stands for. However, their main focus is focusing on really helping to create more of a transparent and a clear image of LGBTQ people on in media. So like they focus primarily on, you know, really creating, a more open environment when it comes to how characters are portrayed in media, whether that be in TV shows, movies, and things of that nature. So that's basically what their sort of focus is. And they are pretty prominent, I would say. They do a GLAAD Media Awards, which explains or basically awards on transparency and on visibility in media for LGBTQ people. So that's another great organization I've researched and I've checked into. There are so many others as well. There is an organization called Lambda Legal, which primarily focuses on more judicial cases and more, justice cases when it comes to LGBTQ people and really being able to help to, elevate LGBTQ people when it comes to, the court system and things of that nature. So that is what another organization that I've really looked into and invested into as well. So again, there's so many different organizations that you can check out. Another one too that doesn't necessarily focus solely on LGBTQ issues, but has been very beneficial is the ACLU. So I have supported the ACLU. I am actually a member now. And the ACLU primarily focuses on, of course, advancing more rights for individuals and really, bringing more, you know, basically like they were very prominent when it come to the Obergefell decision, which is the decision that legalized marriage equality, national. So they had a big prominent sort of figure in that sort of movement as well when that happened to, allow marriage equality. So they're a great organization. Again, they don't not only focus on, of course, you know, specifically LGBTQ issues, they do a wide range of issues as well. So that's the American Civil Liberties Union that you can check out. Again, guys, there's so many different ones. There are also organizations that are more focused on specific issues in the LGBTQ, space, such as the Trevor Project, which supports primarily LGBTQ youth. I have invested into the Trevor Project. One of the biggest things, especially that I'm really passionate about, is suicide prevention and, especially for any younger individuals who are really struggling. This was a big thing with me, and the reason why it's such a major thing with me is because of the bullying that I experienced when I was younger. And I really, know what that feels like for those younger individuals to go through that. And that's been a big thing with me. Again, the Trevor Project has sort of a suicide prevention that they do. They also have a hotline that you can call if you are dealing with any particular issues. And then, if you're struggling with your identity, if you're having issues with maybe family, and you want to talk to somebody, this is a great place. Another, of course, place that is helping with, you know, any LGBTQ is the Ali Forney Center. So this is actually in New York, but they focus on sheltering homeless LGBTQ youth. And that's another, organization that you can check out. And they've these two focus primarily on youth related, support systems. And youth are oftentimes the ones that are under a lot of pressure and are under a lot of stress, especially when you're coming out to family when you're younger. It is the hardest time. It's the hardest time to have that acceptance from family. And again, I know that sort of feeling, especially being bullied in school and, having many times where I dealt with, suicidal thoughts. That's why I'm so passionate with those, because of those particular issues that are being dealt with. There's also organizations that help elderly, which is known as SAGE. SAGE is an organization that helps elderly LGBTQ people as well. So again, there's many different resources out there, and these resources are not only places that you can invest to, but these are places that you can reach out to if you need support in any way. So it's not just specifically for that aspect. And I really encourage anybody who is struggling to really, again, going back to the aspect of dealing with, some of the issues, especially related to mental health and your identity and sexuality, focus on really trying to reach out to somebody, because there is somebody out there to support you in your journey. So thank you guys once again for checking out this video. Again, like I said, you don't have to you really support these organizations in particular, but definitely check these out if you are interested. Again, I'm very much into researching and understanding more on how I can help people. And so that's why it's such a big thing with me, is I really want to do everything I can, whether it be donating or whether it be getting involved in some way. So if you're looking for ways that you can try to really find support but also invest into, definitely check out these organizations. Again, guys, thank you for your time. I really look forward to sharing more of these videos related to LGBTQ issues, as well as sharing more of my story. I will continue to try to do these videos on Sunday. I've been kind of making it a priority to record new videos on Sunday and have them uploaded and shared with you guys. So if there's any topic that you would like me to really expand upon when it comes to, talking about LGBTQ issues, and sort of more about my story and more of what you would like to know about, feel free to let me know. Again, guys, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you too for supporting my fitness content. Again, this stuff, my whole aspect of what I share is, of course, to help people in multiple ways. And I think our health is basically a trifecta of all kinds of different things, whether that be our mental health, our identity, as well as our physical health. I think all of these things interconnect to make us really a better and more fulfilled person in general. So that's why I share all of these things and share my story alongside that, because this, of course, fitness still has a connection to all this, because our health, it matters in so many different ways. So thank you guys once again for checking this out, and I will see you guys in the next video.